Welcome to the Studio Chat podcast. My name is Barbara Thompson. Each week I'll be bringing you a self-care expert or a message to help you to discover how to live your best life and understand your mind-body connection. Thanks for spending some time with me today. Now, let the Studio Chat begin. In today's episode of Studio Chat, I have a chat with Emilia. Emilia was diagnosed with IBD in February 2010, and I've known her on a personal level. She's actually one of my girlfriends. I've known her for about 8 years. In this chat today, Emilia discusses her diagnosis, how everything was been when she first found out that she had IBD, what's her journey been like, and how life is for her today, and what the next 3 to 6 months are looking like for her as well. This is her story and what she's been through, and just her struggles on a daily basis. I do want to note that we are not medical professionals. This is a journey and story of Emilia, and I really want to get the word out there of what this incurable disease is like and to educate people. So I really hope you enjoyed this episode. I really did. I learned a lot, but it's a really special episode for me today. So I hope you guys enjoy. Hi, Ems. Welcome to the Studio Chat podcast today.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited to have you on here. Like I said in my intro, I've known you for 8 years, and as one of my best friends, and it's been a lovely 8 years getting to know you.
Oh, it's been amazing.
And when I started this podcast, Studio Chat, if this is the first episode that you're listening to, is all about how we care for ourselves and how we connect our mind to our body. And I want other people to share their story, because sometimes hearing something said another way or finding out someone's journey can really help you. So for those that don't know you, Ems, can you share a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. I am a mum of 2, and 12 years ago I was diagnosed with an incurable bowel disease. Which
is, IBD.
That's IBD, yes.
Right. So what does IBD stand for?
IBD stands for inflammatory bowel disease.
Okay. And what does that mean in a nutshell?
Oh, Lord. In a nutshell, it basically means that your body keeps on attacking itself, to put it in simple layman's terms. Yeah.
Okay. And so you were diagnosed was 2010?
That's correct.
Okay. And what made you go to the doctor? Like, were there things happening to you, any symptoms or anything that you noticed that was like, this doesn't feel right?
Yeah, symptoms first sort of presented itself as pretty much every time I would have a takeaway coffee, I realised that within 20 minutes I had to be home because I would sort of start getting diarrhea. And at first I thought, you're lactose intolerant, don't worry about it. And but then after a couple of months, when every time I had to go to the bathroom and noticed blood, that was a bit of a concern. And not long after that, the diagnosis came through that it was ulcerative colitis.
Gosh, okay. And how did that feel for you?
To be very honest, it took me a really long time to sort of mourn the death of my health in a way. It took me about 3 years to come to terms with it, and this is my life and this is how it's going to be. But once I've accepted it and sort of decided to have a bit of a different outlook and stop asking why me, what did I do in life that was so horrible, just look at it differently. It's taught me, if you take me from back then to now, it's taught me so much about myself, about life. So much good has come out of it. I have a totally different outlook on life now when it comes to my IBD. But unfortunately, I've sort of come to the end of the road with medication. So I'm on my last little Hail Mary here. It's a drug called Endoscopy, and I have to do weekly injections. So basically what this drug does is that it just suppresses my immune system. So it's an immunosuppressant drug. And I find I've had to sort of find myself again in the situation where I kind of have to mourn the loss of my health again, because the next step is to remove my colon, and that kind of means that I would... Oh, Miss Maisie.
Sorry, Maisie wants to join in on the conversation as well.
No, she's more than welcome to.
Maisie.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so Maisie wants
Maisie wants to tell me how to do it.
Exactly.
Maisie did tell me what to do. Yeah. So as I said, the next step would be to have my colon removed, because for the last 2.5 years I've been in an uncontrollable flare. I've been on and off on long and short courses of steroids as well. So it's been a bit of a rough road lately, and just trying to come to terms with having to have an ileostomy bag. It's been quite hard on me. Along with the physical, symptoms all the time, and then you have throw in the mental stuff in there as well. Yeah.
Gosh, that's a lot. Would you be happy if we unpack a little bit of that today? Oh
no, of course.
Okay, because there's quite a few words you used in there which I've never heard before.
No.
So
ask away.
Can we rewind to the beginning? So from what I do in my studio and from what I see, a lot of these terms and a lot of these words are kind of chucked around. And to be honest, a lot of people in the beginning, like, you know how you said that you thought you were lactose intolerant. And a lot of people I see get ice cream or have, I'm just using an example, they might have an ice cream, they might have a coffee like you do. And they blatantly, especially on social media or something, they blatantly say, oh, I'm going to regret this later, or oh, this is going to give me the shits, I know I shouldn't do this. When really a couple of things may be... Yeah, a couple of things may be happening there, right?
Listening to your body.
Yeah. So it's not, it's actually not funny, because if you eat something and you get quite ferocious diarrhea, or you get a tummy upset straight away, your body's trying to... Pain, when your body's trying to let you know. And every time you do that, on a basic level, your gut is inflamed, and every time it's inflamed,
that's correct,
the lining of the gut is being teared away, and your body can only do that. So it's only going to be funny for a little bit that, I eat the ice cream and I'm going to be on the toilet, but it's so worth it. Do you see that a lot? People saying that?
Oh, yes. Yes, indeed. There's a lot of people out there that sort of dismisses it. I dismissed it myself, thinking, it's just something weird that's happening, because I didn't understand it. And obviously I've never spoken to someone who was lactose intolerant or who had Crohn's or colitis. So I didn't have anyone in my circle, and I didn't know. And then, of course, as I said, when I started, it started happening more often and often and often. I can sometimes go to the toilet anything from like 6 to 20 times per day. Because you just feel that urgency and you have to run. Sometimes you make it, sometimes you don't. But it ended up actually being quite serious. It wasn't something that I could have just dismissed. And when the blood started coming, my first thought was, I've got bowel cancer.
Yeah.
That's it. I didn't want to go to the doctor because that's what he's going to say to me. In my head, I'd already made up my mind that this is, I'm going to die. Because why else would you have blood in your stool? But yeah, eventually I did go and had obviously a colonoscopy done.
And what's that for those people that don't know what one of those is?
A colonoscopy is pretty much, I had an endoscopy and a colonoscopy. So it's basically a camera that they stick down your throat to go all the way down, and then also they stick a camera at the other end as well to have a look at your colon, your smaller intestine, just basically a bird's eye view from both sides.
Do they do it at the same time? So you got a camera in both holes.
Well, I can't quite tell you whether they did that because they do. They do put you off to La La Land, which is great.
Oh, good.
Because I don't think you quite want to be really awake for all of that. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. On that specific, my first ever one, it actually did kind of work, but I think they did it separately.
Okay, yeah. So I know sometimes I tend to use humour when it's not the best of times, but...
look, when you've been diagnosed, and any IBDer will tell you this, humour is our go-to.
Yeah.
We have to, because it can get it's quite a debilitating disease, and it literally robs you of your life and what you perceive as just a normal life. That goes all out of the window.
Because on the outside, and because I've known you for such a long time, when we used to hang out and go out for dinner or whatever, at that point in your life, you weren't having too many flare-ups, but...
I was pretty much, I was what we would say pretty much in remission. So I've had a really, really good run for a while. But again, you do have to be very aware of what you eat, when you eat it, and just rest up as much as you can, or when you're tired. Having IBD is not just having a bowel disease. It's also dealing with chronic fatigue, depression, all those kind of things, everything all at once.
Wow. And also I know, as a close friend of yours, from the outside, people who aren't educated or don't know you think that because you're always such a happy-go-lucky person, you always see life on the positive, but
try to,
yeah, you could be having a bad flare-up or a bad day, and most of the public just wouldn't know, right?
No, they don't. Normally, someone who's got sort of like an illness, and I don't think it's just people with IBD. I think this is it's anyone with endometriosis, or it's all sorts of other diseases as well, that you wear a mask because you're trying to show to the world that you're okay, but you're not. We all have these, and also we don't want people kind of going, poor thing, she's always sick. And we also just try and lead sort of like trying to lead a normal life. I know my life's not normal, but just be accepted by society and not being looked at as someone that's a freak or, not a lot of people understand how hard it is sometimes just to get out of bed and go for a shower, because that will drain your energy completely.
Yes, so many other factors. So
yeah,
if we go back to the beginning, there's something I want to highlight too, is because there is something called, you hear of IBS and IBD, right? So IBD is what you have, and it's incurable. So there's no cure for IBD.
There is no cure for IBD. It's something that you have to live with for the rest of your life and try and manage the best you can. If you don't take care of your body, this can kill you. It's that serious. It's not something that's just, should be nilly-willy being thrown around. IBS is Irritable Bowel Syndrome. So that's a syndrome, and it's easily manageable by either medication or your food that you eat, your diet.
Yeah, exactly. And taking away all the inflammation markers
That's it.
But again, stress is the biggest inflammation marker.
Oh, totally. Totally agree with you there.
Yeah. Okay, so we've just talked about that because I really wanted to highlight the differences, because when you get into this kind of area, like I said in the intro, we're not medical professionals. We're just sharing Em's story, but I think it's really important because people, think it's a little bit funny that they get the shits from eating certain food. I don't find it's funny because I know the repercussions of that. We've talked about IBS and IBD and the difference, which I think is really important. Then I just would love you to quickly touch on IBD, that when you get diagnosed, it kind of goes down into two different areas. Would you just quickly be able to explain when you're diagnosed with IBD, you have this or that?
Well, if you look at IBD and you can imagine sort of you holding an umbrella, that's the umbrella is IBD, and there's two people standing under the umbrella. The one is Crohn's disease and the other one is ulcerative colitis. Now, Crohn's disease can it basically attacks your smaller intestine, and it can go up into the GI tract as well. Ulcerative colitis is more fixated kind of on just the larger in colon and rectum area.
And which one do you have? You see,
I have ulcerative colitis. Yeah.
Okay, which people call
the shorter term is just UC.
People like me, I learn off M's and I just use the shorter terms because sometimes I can't even pronounce.
It's easier to remember.
Yeah. Okay, so in 2010 is when things changed for you.
Yeah.
And so from that journey until today, what has life looked like? Like, obviously you watched what you ate, you knew when things would happen.
Well, it's a bit hard sort of to watch what you eat, because when you've got IBD, there's no right or wrong. There's no sort of guideline for, hey, what to stay away from, what you should eat, shouldn't eat, because each and every individual is completely different. I'm very lucky, and I like honestly blessed, actually, that I can still tolerate coffee.
Yeah.
Because I'm a coffee addict, and if you had to take my coffee away, I think I would have to go and find the will to live, basically, because coffee, when I take that first sip in the morning, that's kind of like my mojo. So I'm really lucky, but there's others that, they would love to have coffee, but it's just not worth it. It's not worth the pain, the cramps, the toilet ones. It's just not worth it. So, yeah, everything's different. Through my own journey, I've realised that speciality breaks, that's kind of like a no-no. Rather stay away from it. I'm half Italian. I love pizza. Can't really have pizza. And I've tried gluten-free pizza as well.
Yeah.
And that messed me up just as much.
Yeah, a lot of people think that when you have something that says gluten-free on it, that it's better for you. And if you, again, read the ingredients, guys, because sometimes it's not the case.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it tastes awful, doesn't it? Oof.
It's, when you're desperate for something, you'll go, all right, I'll try it. And you try it and you go, oh, no, don't try that again.
Yeah. No, I can understand. I just know how frustrating, and just how, because I know our bodies are constantly changing anyway. And then you chuck this into the mix, when you're trying to manage an incurable disease, not only are you trying to work out, can I have this? Can I have this? Can I do this? Can I not do this? Your body is never staying the same. So it's kind of like you're walking on an escalator going, okay, well, can I do this today? Yep. Can I not do this today? Yeah.
And the thing is that with, obviously you included, I have the most amazing friends, because over the years, they've learned that unfortunately, I can cancel an hour before any plans, where I would say, look, I'm just all of a sudden I'm not feeling very well. And it does hit you out of the blue. 1 minute you'd be fine, and the next minute you've got, a raging temperature. Or you are literally folded double from pain. And yeah, it's hard, and the tiredness, the fatigue. I always say, look, I can pretty much, I've gotten to a stage in my life where I can handle anything and everything UC throws at me. But the one thing I've been unable to sort of really understand and conquer is the fatigue.
Yeah.
I get drained really quickly. That's why they call us spoonie. because we measure our energy in teaspoons. A normal person will wake up for the day with 10 teaspoons of energy. I wake up in the mornings and I may have 3 or 4 teaspoons. Now, bear in mind, just going for a shower, that's 1 teaspoon gone.
Wow.
You know, so you have to be so careful how you distribute your time and your energy throughout the day.
Yeah, and so when you're diagnosed, what kind of options are available? Like what kind of plan? There's no cure, but obviously there's different forms
There is no cure.
There's different forms of treatment or different forms of so what kind of?
There is. Oh, that's for years I wasn't really on anything much. You kind of just had to suck it up. Every now and then I would end up in the A&E, for either morphine or pethidine shot when the pain got really, really bad. And they kind of just, there's some pills available. As I said, in the last 2.5 years, I've had a full-blown flare, and I still have it. We're still struggling with it. I was on chemotherapy drugs, actually 2 different chemotherapy drugs, which was horrendous, and on and off on the steroids. I constantly have the lovely little moon face, so your face literally goes round like a ball. So there's lots, and now there's biologicals out there, and now we've got biosimilars as well, and those are the ones that I said to you that I'm on the weekly injections.
Yeah, and so what do they do?
Basically, it pretty much suppresses your immune system, because at the end of the day, this is really what it's all about. I have got a massively overactive immune system that keeps on attacking my own body. And it's an autoimmune issue. And I always joke and I say I'm quite special because I do have 4 autoimmune issues. I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, with rheumatoid arthritis, diverticulitis, and vertigo.
Okay, can you explain just a real tiny bit about each one of those?
All right, so we've covered a bit of the ulcerative colitis. So basically, it is when you look at sort of my colon on the inside, I have got bleeding ulcers. In my colon, and rheumatoid arthritis obviously affects your joints. Yeah,
so you've got sore joints and they're really inflamed.
Yep, they can be sometimes. Yep, can be inflamed. And obviously now, thanks to the Amgevita, they're not that inflamed because it's suppressing my immune system. Diverticulitis is pretty much, again, there's 2 types of diverticulitis. You get the pocket one and the polyp one. This is also basically in the lining of your colon, where you can get either, it looks like a little pocket or a little balloon sticking out. Food, especially little tiny seeds and things, can go in there and it can get inflamed and cause a lot of pain. And then the last one is vertigo, which is the least of my problems. It doesn't hurt at all, but my body will go and attack my pigmentation in my skin. So I've got a few white spots on my hands, and I have it very, 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 very mild. And a lot of people can get it, basically, that can happen to, I would say, probably 90% of their body can be covered in just white. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's so much. Man, you're such a warrior. You're such a warrior. There's so much. And I tell you what, guys, this friend of mine, I just want to share something with you quickly on a lighter note, is when I used to lived in New Zealand and we used to catch up, would have a couple of cheeky drinkies and I remember this one time we were sitting in her garage and we, literally, I've never laughed so hard in my life.
Little cave.
Yeah, we never laughed so hard in my life. We were looking at old photos and just laughing and had music on. Guys, it was, I don't know what time it was, but I think I was a bit pissy-eyed too, but we were laughing so much and so hard, and I'm not the quietest person, but we were laughing so much and so loud that
neither am I.
all of a sudden we heard this neighbour yell out, "Shut up!" And we were like, whoa, what the heck? Because we were laughing. So there's nothing better than having a laugh with a friend, but we were just laughing.
Totally.
So that night,
therapy ever.
Oh, that night was the best night ever.
And I actually do remember. Why you were laughing, because we came across a photo of me being probably around about 9. And yes, my mother chose my glasses.
I'm snorting. I can still remember that photo. And you're not supposed to laugh at your friends. Like, oh, you can laugh at me.
That was your favourite photo of me ever, admitted.
You look so beautiful with those, because you were so little and so beautiful, and then you had these massive in the 80s. In the 80s, massive glasses.
Yeah.
Anyway, a bit of an.
I should actually not be speaking to Mum.
A bit of an inside joke. Anyway, people can't see the photo, but anyway,
Thank goodness.
Ems is so amazing because she, despite all of this, if you guys were listening to this, I would not. Oh, I could tell you now, I would have checked out I wouldn't be where you are, Ems. I just think you're just such an inspiration, and you are an ambassador, aren't you, for IBD in New Zealand?
Yes. Yeah. I do. We try and raise as much awareness as we can, and just let people know that, it's okay not to be okay, and it's okay to have an incurable illness, and, you don't have to be scared of us or, sort of take pity on us. All of us IBDers, they're incredible, strong warriors. And very soon, I think after your diagnosis, you kind of start realising that, look, you've got one or two choices. You can either go and sit in the corner and cry your heart out forever, or you can fight this with everything that you've got. And I've just made that conscious decision that I don't care what she throws at me, I will not let it win. I'm determined to be stronger than my disease. That's what I live by.
Yeah, you are the strongest woman that I know. It's just amazing that your mindset and your attitude and just how you tackle this head on is just. How many surgeries have you had?
Oh, I think I actually lost count.
Yeah,
I've literally lost count. No, I've had quite a few surgeries. But I think in the beginning I did mention that my last option, if this Amjavita drug doesn't work, so hopefully I'll know in the next maybe 3 months whether, because then I've given it about a 6 month go, whether this is going to sort of, be my saving grace, or if I have to have basically my colon removed. And it's kind of something that internally, mentally, I have been kind of struggling, because it means I will have an ileostomy bag, my plumbing will change, and I will no longer go to the toilet like a normal person. I will have a bag.
Wow. Yeah, that's... Not only have you been through so much that's just mind-blowing, even to have to think about that and even to process that.
It is quite mind-blowing. I didn't think it would affect me as much as it did. But yeah, it's had a massive impact on me. And just that, I'm going to have to, as I said, mourn the loss of my health yet again.
Yeah.
And I've spoken to so many people that's had the surgery before, and it knocks your confidence something horrifically. You do, obviously, after a while, you stand up and you keep on fighting and you get your confidence back and you start rocking the bag. But it's just trying to just deal with it all, that is possibly my future.
Yeah. How are you feeling now? How are you feeling today?
Today, I'm sort of I'm having definitely a lazy Sunday, where it's a day where I have to just basically pretty much lie in bed and rest as much as I can, so that I'm good to go and have a little bit more energy for the week ahead. And, to go to work and do my job that I love very much. So I've got the self-care is very important for me.
Yeah. So do you think the drugs that you're on now are helping a little bit?
I've had to go back onto the steroids again, so I've been back on the steroids now for the last 3 weeks. And when you go on steroids, especially when you go on high-dose steroids, obviously sleeping is not that great, my skin is breaking out, I'm starting to look like a puffer fish again, the moon phase is back, I'm a bit chubbier, which I don't mind. It's like, it kind of smooths out the wrinkles. You always have to look at the brighter side of things.
Absolutely.
And then I had the conversation already with my IBD nurse that, next week I'll have to go for blood tests and stuff, and there might be a slight chance that I might end up in hospital for another week on intravenous steroids, because it's just, I'm just struggling with my inflammation and body attacking me.
Oh my gosh. So in the next 6 months, I think you'll be able to make a decision for yourself that's
it's probably in the next 2 to 3 months, I reckon. Because then it would have been a full 6 months that I've been on the new drugs.
Okay. Yeah.
Wow.
So if anyone's listening to this today and they feel what for anything that's IBD related, what if people need to look out for certain things, what are some main markers that you think that you could share with people to say, hey, if you're feeling this, go get it checked out?
Well, originally it started with cramping. I would get the most vicious stomach cramps out of the blue, don't know why, had no idea what was happening. I just thought I had a stupid stomach. And then obviously then the toilet runs started, and every time I had a cup of coffee, I was like, oh, no, I have to be home in 20 minutes, otherwise, disaster. And so it's the diarrhea, and then I know it's a bit of a gross subject, and people don't really talk about it, but we talk a lot about poop. Check your poop.
Yeah.
Check your poop, the colour of your poop. If you see blood in it, the red flag should be going off, and go have it checked out, because it may be something really, really simple, like maybe having a hemorrhoid, or you might have, if you're constipated, which is a problem too, you might have a little tear, or, in my case, it was, bleeding ulcers.
Yeah, but nothing embarrassing to talk about poo, because we all do it, but
no,
also
not at all.
It's a byproduct of your body, which is, I'm big on the biofeedback. So your body's always trying to tell you something. So just no one needs to know you do it. It's just like you need to look at your wheeze. You need to look at your wheeze. You need to look at your poos. Yeah. And
no, totally.
Have a look at your poos and record everything down. Like, I'm really big on writing it down and maybe 3 strikes. And if it's blood, obviously you go to the doctor straight away. But if there's anything you're not sure of, record what you eat, record your stress levels, record everything, just write it down in your phone or in your diary, and then if it keeps happening, you've got something to present to the health professionals. Hey, this is happening, blah, 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 when I eat this, and to be your own health advocate, because how have you found when you've gone to the doctors and stuff, Ems, have you been heard and have you been supported?
Well, it's been a very long battle. I must admit, I do have an amazing GP. He's been looking after me for most of the years, and in the last, I actually kind of fired my specialist because I didn't feel that he was really listening to what I was saying to him. And I've now got an amazing specialist. She's absolutely lovely, and I'm kind of feeling like, yes, I'm being heard. Yes, she's listening to me. Yes, she's taking my feelings into consideration. She understands my frustration that I have, not with her, but with the fact that, I've been sick for a really long time and not much has changed. It's been a very slow process. And when she came to me and said, right, I'm going to write down a list of things, of all the things that we're going to try, I was like, I wanted to jump up and down. And number 1 we did, number 2 we did, number 3 we did, number 4 we did, and now we're at our last hurdle here, where if these drugs don't work, then it's surgery. But I've got an IBD hero that I absolutely adore, and he's got this saying that I absolutely love, and I think I might just sort of adopt that for a wee while, because he's got exactly the same as me. So he's also got ulcerative colitis. He's had his colon removed. Actually his colon and his rectum removed, and he goes, no colon, still rolling, young, wild, and rectumless.
Man, see, it takes a special...
That's power.
Yeah, but look, in all seriousness aside, it takes a special someone to work through this and to be okay with it, because the majority of people have no idea. Like, health is wealth. And if you don't have your health,
totally.
You can have all the money in the world. You can have the most successful business. You can have whatever, guys, whatever's important to your values and your beliefs. But if your health is taken away from you, all you want is to feel good and to feel healthy, right?
Well, you can't go buy a new colon.
Yeah.
The thoughts running through my head is like, well. They do heart transplants, they do lung transplants, they can do face transplants, limb transplants. Why? Who's working on the colon one?
Have you asked them that? Have you actually said?
I just don't think it's possible. Because even when I had a conversation, I said, well, can't you just cut out a bit of my colon, the one that's diseased and pretty useless? And they go, no, because, it can spread further up. It's not to say that I'll be fine just with having a bit cut out.
Yeah.
And when I had a chat to, because I've already spoken to my surgeon, and he's given me basically 2 options, and he goes, look, it's this or this. That's the options you have.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't think we've got enough time going into surgery details, which is very overwhelming.
That can be a chat for another day if you go down that, that road.
Yeah, no, totally. And as I said, the main thing for me at this stage is just trying to come to terms with, right, I'm going to lose my bowel, bowel and rectum. So my plumbing is going to be different. How's that going to make me feel as a person? How am I going to cope with all this? Because one of my first things that I asked my surgeon is, right, how long after? Because I'm sick, I like to tend to put my mindset somewhere else. So I focus a lot on my work, and I'm very privileged and lucky to have an amazing job and absolutely love what I do. So I focus on my job and being the best that I can be in that position, and that helps me sometimes forget about how sick I am. Because these days where I'm sitting in front of my desk and I know for a fact, I feel it, I have a temperature, I feel like crap. But my job helps me to power through it.
But I think your job, if you don't mind me asking, because I don't think we've shared on this podcast what you do. What do you do, Ems?
I am a graphic designer for a funeral home, but I design headstones.
What a cool job, but also it's
an amazing job.
But
really, it's
also, Ems, what a job to really every day put perspective into things that we don't get a practice run. This is it.
Yeah.
And to be grateful for what we have, because you see a lot of grieving people, a lot of hurt people, a lot of people that didn't, might have wanted to live life to the fullest, or
not given that opportunity. Yeah, no, very true, very true.
Yeah, and we all know things can change like with a click of a finger.
In a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a heartbeat. And then there's also, something else that I'd like to mention, that I also think that I'm quite lucky in the sense that I've been given the opportunity to say, look, these are the drugs that we're trying. If this doesn't work, then you will have to consider surgery. There's a lot of IBDers that doesn't get that opportunity. They legit wake up the next day in hospital and they have had their colon removed.
Really? Without them even knowing?
No, it's basically most of the time they go, we have to do emergency surgery right now. So they don't have a choice.
Wow.
They don't have time to process it. They don't have time to think about it. It's literally life or death for them. And that's kind of...
And is it because...
you kind of...
excuse my ignorant, I'm sure...
No.
That's why I've actually purposely done no research, because I wanted it to be real and raw, because I wanted to be asking you questions that other people listening will ask questions.
Yeah.
So if you have to have emergency surgery or whatever to get your colon removed, like in that instance, does that mean that it's not working and all the waste is going to other parts of the body? Or what does it mean when it gets to that point where it's like, whoop, we got to whip it out now?
Well, it can kill you. That's bottom line. It can kill, you can die. So I think one of the most common causes is when your colon lining gets attacked so much, it becomes thinner and thinner and thinner, and you can actually perforate your bowel. And then you've got that toxic waste going into your abdomen area, and it can, septic shock can kick in, and that's what can kill you.
Gotcha. Yeah, and that happens pretty quickly, doesn't it? Yes.
No, that's man, I've spoken to so many people where it was legit touch and go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's hell of a scary. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I just love you so much, and I just thank you so much for coming on today.
Oh, I love you too.
And sharing.
And then if there's anyone that sort of wants to know more about it, or maybe would like to do some donations to the foundation, it's Crohn's and Colitis.org.nz. There's always people ready to help or answer questions, or even if you think you might have IBD, it's always great to chat to someone. We also have a helpline. It's 0800 Ask IBD, and there's a lot more people with IBD than what you think there is.
So if anyone's listening to this and they want to reach out, because you're so approachable, you're so easy to talk to, and you really, going through all of this, you still have the time and the heart to make your friends feel beautiful and your friends feel hurt. So thank you from all of you. I want to thank on behalf of all your friends.
Oh, no. I'll be silly.
To say thank you.
Any time. And if anyone wants to reach out, Barbara's got my details, and reach out. And if you want to have a chat, have a chat. Always there to help. I also run a support group on Facebook. It's one of the first IBD support groups here in New Zealand, and we're just the most amazing little community on Facebook, and everyone is just awesome. There's, everyone, you can ask a question and so many people will jump in and try and say, look, this is what I've tried, that's what I've tried, this is what I'm trying. And you can, you've got a couple of options that you can try and things. So, it's been amazing.
Yeah. Oh, just thank you, Ems. And just if anyone's listening to this and it does, trigger anything or makes you feel a little bit unsettled, you can reach out to me, or I can give you Em's details. And she's given some really, helpful numbers and Facebook groups. What's the name of that Facebook group, Ems?
It's, we do screen people, so if you really want in, you will find a way to contact me and I will let you in. But it is IBD Support Buddies New Zealand.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think that's
great. It is a support group for people with Crohn's and colitis, and probably about a year and a half ago we did open it up to people with IBS as well, because the symptoms are very similar. So, obviously we can relate and, give advice and try and help. And even if you just want to complain.
Yep,
and
because
have
we're
a
all
rant.
human. Yep.
You know, we're all human. Knock your socks off. And we will all jump in and support. You know, so yeah, it's been pretty cool.
Yeah, and can I also just let people know that this can happen at any age, right?
It can happen at any age. I've seen little babies with, with ileostomy bags or ostomy bags. I have seen teenagers, 7-year-olds, 5-year-olds, any age. It's not just a disease that will hit elderly people. You know, it's got no age. And as a matter of fact, we are doing a Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of New Zealand is doing a massive campaign at the moment. It's #IBD has no age.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No age.
Yeah. Well, thank you for highlighting it today, because your story is going to educate a lot of people. Your story is going to help a lot of people. So thank you very much.
It's all about, you know, spreading awareness and just putting the word out there, you know, that nobody needs to feel alone in their journey. You know, there's heaps of us out there. We know what everyone else is going through because we've either gone through it, been through it, still going through it. And, yeah, always there to help.
Yeah, all right. Well, thank you for the chat today, Ems. I know it's a Sunday, and we've had a few technical issues with the podcast today, so I'm glad that we've...
That's all right.
You're very patient, but, you know, it's been lovely chatting to you today and just sharing everything.
That's been awesome.
You bloody
and
warrior.
Again, thank you. And thank you so much for opening up your podcast to me and, you know, helping or giving me the opportunity to raise some more awareness of IBD.
My pleasure.
Very, very much appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, yeah, enjoy the rest of your Sunday, Ems. And
thanks, you too.
I will talk to you very soon.
Yes, looking forward to it as always.
All right, see you later.
All right, bye-bye. Keep well. Thanks, listeners.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and it has inspired you on your self-care journey. Please feel free to share this with a friend and subscribe over on Apple Podcast. I really love hearing your feedback. So guys, please feel free to write a review on Apple and let me know which part of this episode resonated with you the most. To fall in love with yourself is the first secret to happiness. To find out a bit more about Self-Care Studio or the Studio Chat podcast, head over to my Instagram page, self_care_studio, or on my website, selfcarebybarbarathomson.com.au. Really look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Look after you, and I'll catch you soon. Bye!